The power of his words stretches like bandages over open wounds. Wounds that carry the weight of generations. Hip-hop taught him punchlines, storytelling, and English.
Now he's flipping the script, changing the language, but the message remains the same. The same honesty, consciousness, and grit. The grit that crowned him the godfather of Palestinian hip-hop. I'm your host, Amira.
And I'm your host, Ibrahim.
And this is UTTN, the podcast. Ahla wa sahla, everybody, to another episode of UTTN, the podcast. I am super excited, honored, and a little nervous to introduce our guest. Why? Because we have sitting in front of us a Palestinian legend, a person, an artist that paved the way, set the stage for activism, art, music, rap, hip hop for generations to come. And I'm really, really honored to welcome Tamer Nafar. شكرا كتير that you're with us. أهلا وسهلا. كيف حالك?
Now I'm nervous. هلا أنا nervous. شكرا for the introduction. I'm very good, thank you.
Okay. So we have in this season we have segments, and the reason for the first segment, which is the "Who Are You" segment, is that life always puts us in specific boxes. You're Palestinian, so you're whatever. You're a hijabi woman. You're brown, and people assume things. So in this segment, we ask our guests to choose their boxes. I'm going to ask you 3 times, "Who are you?" Who is Tamer? And you can answer with one word. And then we dissect. And we're very well aware that you're more than 3 words. But for this segment, that's what we're going to work with. Sound good?
So I should just answer with one word?
I'll ask you and you answer.
One word?
Yes.
Before the explanation?
Before the explanation. 3 times. So, Tamer, who are you?
Palestinian.
And if I ask you again, who are you?
The Palestinian Tamer.
And one last time. Who are you, Tamer?
Palestinian artist.
Okay, let's dissect. So we said Palestinian Tamer, Palestinian artist, and what was the third one?
Palestinian Tamer.
Okay.
Because it includes my mom, my dad, my sons, my wife, my personal life.
Okay.
Tamer, Palestinian artist.
Yes.
All the 3 together.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, this isn't the first time that someone, when they introduce themselves, they just use their name. So why Tamer?
What's Tamer about Tamer?
Because it includes all the things. It includes my smell, my neighborhood, my phone calls I just had, the song I just released, the movie I wrote, the weaknesses, the strengths, my everything. It all comes in together.
And your neighborhood, where's Tamer from?
If you want me to be specific, Ramat Eshkol, من اللد. I think it used to be before the Nakba. I think they used to call it Al-Mun'a.
And why is that significant? Why does it come with your name that you hold with you?
Or maybe who chose the name for you?
Tamer?
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, that was, everyone takes the credit. I think my dad, I just yesterday, my auntie says, my grandmother, may she rest in peace, she really loved the name Tamer and she picked it. And my mom said, really? I thought that Abu Tamer picked it. So I don't.
Everybody takes the credit.
Yeah. I like the name.
You're the eldest?
I'm the eldest.
Of how many siblings?
It's me, Suhail after me, then Hanan, and then Jamil.
Okay.
You've seen me with, I think, during my career, you've seen me with most of them on stage. First, Suhail established them with me, Suhail and Mahmoud. And in my solo career, I have DJ Jamil on stage with me. So, and Hanan is managing, lectures and stuff like that. So.
Very well known family in different aspects about different things.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. A lot of our guests say, when we ask them to present themselves, they say the word Palestinian, and it means something to every single Palestinian. And there's there's a reason. Like not every American or Italian, well, maybe Americans, yes, but Italians, Europeans want to say where they are from. And for us as Palestinians, because we're divided, we're separated to different things from ourselves, from the world, everybody has something different to say about why they present Palestinian and how they do so. What does it mean to you?
By the way, I have to say, ever since I started my career, I've always thought that don't put me in the box of a Palestinian. I didn't choose to be a Palestinian. It's just there. My priority is being an artist. And every time the media was interested in me because of Palestine, I used to get interested in me because of songs. I'm an artist. That was my biggest one. But since the 7th of October, my art is not in danger. The side that is being extinct and genocide is the Palestinian side. So that's why I hold into it. I don't give a fuck about flags. I don't give a fuck about, I don't know, then if you tell me to order the colors of my flags, I might confuse it with Jordan. Honestly, I won't know. It's not about that. It's for my career is 26 years old, and for the last 2 years I've been standing on stage and feeling that my Palestinian body is in danger. That's why I pick it on every place, just to hold it and to take care of it, not the patriotical part of it. And yes, I wish that we will reach a point where when I'm an Italian, where nobody's destroying and killing my people. So I wish to free Palestine so I can free myself from Palestine. That's why I picked it, not from that side of.
And we hear it sometimes from people who are active who say, that I cling on to my Palestinian identity because I feel that it's being ripped apart.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I just want to be a humanist, or I just want to live in a world where we all, we look at each other as human beings. But because you're emphasizing my Palestinian identity and want to erase it, I'm going to cling on to it even more. Because otherwise it's going to be gone.
I've been saying it in songs. Even if you listen to Johnny Mashi, I have a song called Johnny Mashi. بدي أحرر الوطن أحط فيو تشاو تشاو بامبينو أنا مهاجر. I want to free Palestine. So just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It's like a human mission.
What does it mean to free yourself from Palestine? Literally, metaphorically.
أول إشي physically, not to feeling that guilt of leaving.
Yeah.
Maybe I enjoy mountains. Maybe I enjoy a different weather. But the Zionist wants me to get the fuck out of here. So I can't. I stay. Maybe when I sit, maybe I just had one of the most amazing kisses and I want to write about it. And then there's a massacre. So it is just that obligation,
mm-hmm.
that thing that you didn't choose, that right thing you need to do, but you didn't choose. That's what it means to free yourself.
I face it a lot with being, specifically in the past 2 years, with being a woman. And I want to talk about so many issues that have to do with me personally, but then there's a genocide happening. And should I put that aside and then start talking about things? And there are activists and that this is what I focus on. I focus on gender issues. I focus on gender apartheid, and that's what I talk about. But then it's the same thing. Like, when are we allowed to be selfish? To talk about, you talk a lot in your interviews about, you want to write love songs. You want to write about feelings, Tamer's day to day. But there's a responsibility at the same time, and comes with the guilt and comes with all of that. But your third word, which ties into the second segment, but I want us to talk about it a little bit, which is artist, Palestinian artist. What do they mean separately, and what's the significance of them together, if there even is a difference?
First of all, artist. When I started, that identity was hard to shape, because when I started as a rapper. This young kid with a hat, New York hat, with English, with pronouncing the word dad with 5 mistake syllables. كلمة dad مع 5 أخطاء إملائية. And then there was this specific song, تامر نفار، التالى الألف للMER، صار تامر نفار راب ستار. شوفكم متعودين على راب من الشمال لليمين، جيت كتبته من اليمين للشمال. Suddenly it blew up, And I did my first show just here. I came with Suhail and Mahmoud. I just came here to do a show. And we were walking among the people because we didn't know something is up. There was 2,000 people. There was like 2 groups before us, but people were talking. I was like, okay, lamme. And then when they played Tel Al Alif, people went insane. They knew every word. This is where we knew, okay, Jama'a, I'm quitting my job. Something is happening. But then we were, it's a moje, it's a wave, it's ta-ta-ta. And that was restless nights, terrifying. To keep hunting, not to wake up and feel that you are not relevant anymore. You had to chase it, moje. And then the Palestinian issue came. And then we did Minir Habi. So that now you have the rapper and the Palestinian together. Tamam? October no second intifada happened, and now you have that Palestinian issue. Then we did Minir Habi, and then we became international. It's like, okay, so now he's riding the wave outside. He's a rapper. Addesh till when he's gonna do rap? Then Then suddenly some political confrontation started to happen, like Miri Regev, like then suddenly he's an artist that he's also have a statement, so he's here to stay. Boom, Junction 48. Oh, he's writing movies now. Oh, he's for this chase of being, while chasing to be relevant. That was the fear. That was the monster under the bed. Yani, not to wake up and not to be relevant. And never mind saying that suddenly after 10 years there are new rappers that they are passing you in your views. It's a monster under the bed that keeps you waking up every day. To keep myself relevant the whole time, I had to juggle a lot of balls. Activism, theater, writing scenarios, acting in a movie, So from rapper, I discovered that I'm an artist because I collect other things. This is how it shaped. يعني شوي. I meant it. I didn't mean it. I don't know. يعني if you ask me when I started in 2000, when I was all about fuck the police and super lancer وكله, that I'm gonna stand on stage and play Chekhov, I didn't plan that. I would have made jokes about myself. But I think that me chasing that fear of not being relevant the day after, just every time somebody was like, would you like to be in a theater? Yeah. Would you like to? Yeah. For that shaped the Palestinian artist.
One last question for this segment, and then we want to talk about something specific to us. I heard in one of your interviews that you come from a musical artistic family.
Yeah.
How did that not help you become the Tamer now?
I didn't witness that period. It's stories that I've heard after. But apparently, first of all, my grandfather, Allah yarhamu, I don't have memories of him because all I remember was him laying on the sofa. He doesn't hear good. And all I remember is my uncle yelling in his ear so he can hear. But my uncle was very funny, so he didn't used to say things. He was like, and he didn't used to just to act like he's screaming. And my grandfather was like, what? مش سامعك. He was just bullying his own father. That's all I remember. But apparently, now because I'm working on my first novel, so I did a research about my grandfather. So apparently he was a carpenter. He had, do you know when the clock tower Biafra, in front of it, I think it's Khalilit or Clay Zemer, one of both. Is it Khalilit? It's a huge one, right? So in one of the section, it used to be my grandfather's carpentry, right? And in that place, for him to stand out, other than making furniture, apparently he was decorating oud.
Oh, wow.
Right? He was decorating oud. And this is, I guess, how music started in my family. Now, if you jump forward, I have a lot of photos. Now I just released a song called Rocket Like a Palestinian, where you see a guy with a guitar. That's my dad. I don't know that guy. I know Hajj on a wheelchair. I don't know my father when he was a son with dreams. There's a huge difference. And I'm lucky that my kids seeing me living my dreams as a kid. That's huge. This is huge. This is very confident for your kids to tell them just go and follow. So apparently my dad brought, he was a huge fan of the Beatles. Therefore my album is called In the Name of the Father, the Imam and John Lennon. He was a huge fan of the Beatles. He didn't know English. He just mumbled the words like today's rappers. There's no.
Yeah. No.
He didn't know the lyrics, but he was a huge fan of the Bee Gees. Even if you see him, he was a huge fan of Abu Antar and Ghawar. So you can see that. So apparently he brought a guitar once, and then he fell in love with it, and then he bought drums and like he bought the whole thing. And then his young brother started playing, and they somehow formed a wedding group, a wedding band, and apparently they made money out of it. But then he got married, and they got married, and I just heard the stories and then seen photos. I've never witnessed that, yani. I've seen that when my father, Allah yarhamu, when we used to go to the studio, you know, we came with this is where he earned my respect. Because for me, he was an old guy on a wheelchair. He's coming with us. It's like, you know, it's not cool. I'm speaking as a brat kid. And in the studio guy, you know, he's working, and my dad, I use this bass line like the Beatles. And the guy was like, okay, suddenly someone knows music and not just hip hop of loops. And then the conversations between both of them is just like, wow, you had dreams, man. I didn't know that. So.
Wow. That's
But physically, I've never seen any of never. Just photos, silent photos. There was no sound.
When we were having a conversation even with Evelyn about the cover of the album while we were listening to specifically Rocket Like a Palestinian.
That's how you saw it. Because it's not out. I sent you the link.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
No, but the picture is on Instagram. Of your father.
There are two. There's the one with the guitar. That's a released single. Mm-hmm. Already I released it. Mm-hmm. But the other one of the album is him on the drums. That's not released yet.
When we were like...
The guitar one.
We were asking... Yeah, she was like, is this his dad? Before we even saw the caption.
He's like, gotta ask him.
He looks like me.
Was like,
I look like him.
At the beginning, I thought, I was like, is this some AI shit? Like, is it, what is it? No, and then...
that's the
but it's beautiful that you can look back and see... create an image or try to imagine the image of your father, and we'll talk about your album in a second, but maybe talk to him, personify his taste maybe, or just channel him in general. I want to conclude the segment. I know we didn't talk a lot about you, a lot, like deep in depth, because we would need if your music career or artistic career in general is 26 years, so we'll take a long time to dive into that. But I want our audience listening to this that are new because of the language barrier to who you are, or because they're not from the region or something like that, to understand the actual significance and impact, not just of who Tamer is, but your work on just everyday people that are jamming to your music on the bus, in traffic, after school. So I want to ask Ibrahim, what was your experience getting introduced to Tamer Nafar as a kid?
Yeah, because I think, like you said, it's important for the audience to grasp, for young Palestinians listening to the music. And because we're going to talk a lot about the work you're doing now, I think it's great that we can tell a little bit about the past from our experience. And the first song, or first two songs I was introduced to simultaneously were Super Dancer and Min Irhabi, who's a terrorist. And huge gap time-wise, but these are like the two that, going back, what were the songs I remember listening from Tamer at the beginning, and these are the two that come out. I do remember, because of October 2000, the following that, and it was the first time that I raised questions about identity, about who we are, because I grew up in Nazareth. I grew up in the eastern neighborhood in Nazareth.
أنت نصراوي? I didn't know that. Sorry, I've got you.
I grew up in the city, and my family tried as a very young child not to focus a lot about the political things, not to focus a lot about talking about all the challenges that we face as a minority and all these things, but to give you innocent childhood as possible. And I got introduced to Hebrew very early on and watched shows, and it made that mix of all these realities together confusing. But then October hits, and it hits on my street in the eastern neighborhood. 3 people got shot and killed by the police on my street, and then you're forced to ask the questions, and the family's forced to talk about it. Like, now we can't avoid it. It's in front of us. It made me ask questions about the country, about our reality, about who we are. And then the song comes out, Min Irhabi. And because at that time we would go to the mall and with my mom and my sister, and people would look at us with that look of, you're suspect. I'm talking about 9-10-year-old kid with his mother. Why are we suspects of anything? Why that look of hatred, of fear? And that for me was, see, yeah, we're from here. Like, it channeled energies that I had as a frustrated kid. Why are you looking at me? You're the one who's wrong. It's the Israeli police that shot the 3 people on my street. If anything, that's what terrorism should be. Like, it brought a lot of frustrations out, and it made me start to think about it, and how to tackle this reality. And the second, of course, Super Lancer was more, I would say, feeling the very hip-hoppy vibe, because at the same time in Hebrew there was hip-hop coming out, and I was like, yes, there's also in Arabic, and we can do that in a more gangsterish way, that it's not just them that are able to do it, we're also able to do it. And the later one that is the most significant for me is Ajoni Mashi. Because going to college I went to college in the US, and even when I was in my freshman year in college, I was in Egypt. I went to the American University in Cairo, and people didn't know. Like, some people had no idea that there are Palestinians who are citizens here.
Yeah.
And I would give them Joni Mashi. And when I'm in the US, I would have make an effort to translate the lyrics. I'm like, just to understand the brilliance of the clock and the hour, and trying to explain the lyrics.
Yeah.
And
it's
wordplay. Poetic,
it's very
and then
local.
I have to go into a whole deep down of what does a talk about, what's happening in the young society among Palestinian citizens of Israel, this corruption of values that is happening to us, our reality. It was for me a translation of our reality in one song that just says, what is a Palestinian citizen of Israel reality today? Listen to this song. Like, for me, it was the back, to give to anyone who wants to know. Here's one song that gives you everything. So that for me, it was very meaningful, also in Egypt and also in the US. So I think that is really crucial for us, because it doesn't exist almost. I think the audience, especially the English speaking, might not understand it fully, but there are not enough songs, definitely not back then, that talked about these things, particularly as Palestinian citizens of Israel, not just as the overall Palestinian experience, but a very specific one that's ours. Here's somebody's talking about my experience in particular. So that was very valuable at that time.
I really appreciate that, even though I didn't mean all of it, but I think that it's very fascinating because while you're talking, I'm reanalyzing things, but you got connected to Min Irhabi because you had question. The song itself is a question. It's Min Irhabi.
But who's a
And
terrorist?
we didn't mean to give you answers, because we as well, we are coming from more mixed city, because it's 70% Jews, and we also, my parents, my first political line that I've heard from my dad only after I got successful and I was known as a political figure, and then suddenly they invite me to Israeli TV, that was the first time that he allowed himself to say a political line. So I didn't come from a political family as well. تمام. I was raising questions. It's like, honestly, it's like, but they killed 13 of us and they killed 1,000. Who's the terrorist? It was a question. It didn't mean to answer you.
No, but it helped me raise the questions.
But I think that's why you got connected to it. Because if I gave you answers, فيها judgmental on, oh, you don't know, I'll tell you who you are. But I was also, it's like, what the fuck's happening? The same as you. I've went through that process. About Super Lancer, of course, Nasra, Dod. That's, there's no...
They're feeling a little gangsta
but
vibe.
the Super Lancer...
It's not just NWA that can do
you
it.
cannot. The Super Lancer and the Johnny Mashi, they were a very clear decision, madruse, that my job is to document فلسطينية الداخل. That's why I used the Hebrew words in it. I use Hebrew words in both of them. I can't remember which. خشبونيت. That was very madrus, and I had 2-3 versions without the Hebrew. I was like, no. When we talk about Palestine, people will think Gaza, West Bank. No one knows about the 2 million. And my job, and I accept that mission. It's a small crowd, but I accept that mission. I'm going to document my slang. I'm going to document my friends. I'm going to document my stories. It wasn't Super Lancer. It was Subaru back in my time. It was actually, the song was recording Subaru. That was the song that was recorded. And 3 of the friends who used to be in my Subaru got killed. So my job is to document them. I did it for them. And when I went to the studio in Nazareth, and I was like, Subaru, the guy fell in love with the song. And he's like, I like it, but no one drives Subaru today. It's Super Lancer. It's like, what's a Super Lancer? It's like, it's a Mitsubishi. Now I got it tattooed. But back then I didn't know. So I just changed that line. But yeah, that's what I meant to do. For you to go to Egypt, في 2 مليون فلسطينية. يعني okay, I respect أناديكم and I respect طل الشباك. بس لا, this one is
there's a very specific story.
That was the meaning.
And
I'm glad.
I can tell you it went across
شكراً.
fully. يعني.
شكراً. I'm
helped
happy.
a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, for me...
What about you?
For me, as you're talking about explaining the reality of a Palestinian citizen of Israel or a 48 Palestinian, for me as someone from Jerusalem, and I'm only speaking for myself as Amira, I had my exposure to Al-Nasra was that I had an aunt that was married to someone from Al-Nasra, and we would talk about Al-Nasra the same way we would say Gaza. It's something so far away that I don't know what it is. I know that there are people there, they speak Hebrew, and I come from a conservative family. I know it doesn't look it, but I come from a conservative family.
We all do. We all do.
And I was like, they have more chances to be liberal than us, to be like religiously liberal than us. And that's what I knew. I didn't know anything about the crime. I didn't know anything about the dynamic. I even politically, the fact that the voting, the differences between Jerusalem rights and an actual citizen rights, I didn't know that. And the first time I heard about Tamer Nafar was I was in high school. My brother was in a different school, and you performed at his school, في القدس. مدرسة أمريكانية, an American school, Super Lancer. And he came and he said, Tamer Nafar is coming. And I saw the music video. I listened to I thought it was great, amazing. It didn't speak to me though, because I was like, oh, it's cool, it's great, it's nice, but it didn't really speak to me. And then a few years after, or before I say which song touched me specifically, my dad is the one that brought into the house Tupac, Biggie, Michael Jackson. Yeah, wow. Jamming in the car. He wanted to follow the American dream. Made a life in San Francisco. In the end, it didn't work out. And you see in his clothes, even I look back at pictures and you see he's wearing the baggy pants. You can see he had long hair. Like it all comes from somewhere. So I knew that there's this coolness out there, but it's not us. It's not us. The coolness is outside. الأمريكان, الأجانب. The foreigners are cool. We're not cool. We like Arabic isn't cool. It can't be hip. It can't be popular. And then also struggling with my identity as a woman in Palestinian society. And then a friend of mine shared with me, if I'm not mistaken in English, it's the song Who You Are.
Oh, قولي
With
من إنت.
them.
Yeah, the first song we did with Maisa.
Yes. I felt like I was looking at my phone and there was like a beam of light from my phone. I was like, بطلع منا. We can do shit. Like we're creative. Arabic can be creative. You can do metaphors. And I never, even though I studied poetry, I studied Mahmoud Darwish, but this, and also to see like a man and the creativity of the music video and everything, that's when I felt seen for the first time by Dam and by you, by Maisa. And that was the first kind of seed where I thought that I don't need to speak in English, like this podcast is in English, but I don't need to speak in English for it to be creative. That's not the box of creativity. And then the political stuff came. And I started understanding more about who are these people? Where is this coming from? What are they talking about? When Tamer talks about crime, what crime is he talking about other than the occupation? Mean, who's shooting who? And those questions come up. And then it's like your neighbor, it's an hour, 2-hour drive. And you can be somewhere you can be in Lid, you can be في الناصرة, في Yafa. And you can see the people, but you wouldn't understand the stories. And then your art comes along and other people, obviously, that came after and with you. And it's you learn way more than you can learn from history books or, like, with all due respect to teachers, كذا المعلم أن يكون رسولا, but with different generations needs different types of teaching methods, kind of.
I appreciate that. Shukran. It's always emotional to hear the effect itself. So shukran. That's all I can say. Jad, appreciate it. And you picked different time. يعني في كتير time gaps. يعني you said من إرهابي, I was like 2001. Then you said Super Lancer, I think it was 2008. Then you jumped into قولي من إنت. That was a different Tamer with Maisa, and then Johnny Mashi. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Different times had different impacts and
Command
different influences.
production wise, because Johnny Mashi was in the drawer for like 4 years. I didn't want it out. I didn't want that song out because I was sick of hip hop. It was a very boom bap. You know what a boom bap rap. It was a very boom bap, and I wasn't there. And I threw it on the and then I sat with my friend Tam Cooper from the UK. He's like, dude, we should do a dance song. Let's do a dance song. It's like, dude, I'm flying tonight. Okay, let me look. And I played him Johnny Mash. I was like, do you think it can be a dance song? And he's like, let's change the drums. And then when he changed the drums, I was like, that's why I was waiting for this one, because it was very rap. And so it was a whole different. I'll tell you why it was emotional, what you said. Because every time I sit and I just keep banging my head against the wall, it's like I'm lost. I'm not comfortable where I am. طيب, I did Min Irhabi, and now يعني ليش I did Min Irhabi also? Because as you said, I started to get successful in the north. And the north was يعني terrifying for me. I come and my Arabic is نص عبري. تمام. I come to people, it's like, yeah, Mahmoud Darwish. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who's Mahmoud Darwish? What are you talking about? يعني. And سجل اسمي عربي, and I was like, and people with suits, and it was terrifying because my dad had شحمة على إيديه. He was on a wheelchair as well, broke his back from working, and he even when for him to survive in Tel Aviv to work, he changed his name from Fawzi to Uzi. But what سجل أنا عربي means, it was terrifying for me. So after I did تل الألف وكله, I got into a different standard of الشمال, because culture is here way more than Lid. يعني I've done 200 shows in Haifa, and I've never done a show in Lid. Let's شوف قديش I've done 50 shows in San Francisco, 30 shows in New York. I've never done a show in Lid. There's something about this place. That put us in a standard. I want to be political. I want to say مين إرهابي. And suddenly I gained a new identity of a Palestinian identity like them. And then we did الحرية أنثى. And we started quoting Mahmoud Darwish and Nizar Qabbani, نريد جيلا. Because I was terrified. I had to prove my intellectual side. And I didn't have that. I have Bagrut of 75. I copied most of it from my wife. That's يعني
his high school score.
with my so I copied it. She's the brain. She's the intellectual one. She's الألقاب كله. I finished صف 12 with Bagrut 75. Then I worked washing cars and stuff like that. So that's not, I'm not from an suddenly I want to be political. And then suddenly I felt that someone, I remember that we released the album إهداء, dedication. I remember that moment. And I got a phone call from jail. Right? And there was a Lidawi guy. He was there for he told me 6-7 years for drug dealing, for whatever. And he was like, I got your new album. It's fascinating, it's invading. بس ويننا يا زلمة? It's like, what do you mean? Where are we where are we? ويننا إحنا? When he was like, when Ratatat, when at the beginning you used to talk about us, me and my friends in the car, when now we are not there. Okay, حرية أنثى. He played the album. I Can Freedom. It's like, yes, but when now? Where are we?
People of 48 or Lid specifically?
Lid. I got that phone call from people who they don't give
the streets.
They don't give a fuck about يعني.
Don't talk to me about equality. I don't know.
Give a fuck. We started. We don't pump that shit. And suddenly I felt that my identity of Tamer, the rapper, and I stopped speaking Hebrew and doing it. I was like, in Super Lancer, let's bring that animal back. That was it. It's like, and I released it and I recorded it. And it's like, والبوليس طيزها قدامي وبعبوس والبوليس كمان في هاي الميتافور بشمطها هاند بريك فجأة بصوف. Because when you do the hand brake, the whole car goes
it turns around,
spins. So بشوف طيزها قدامي. And there was a line about 69. كل كوربة بقلبها 69 قدامي بشمطها هاند فجأة بشوف طيزها. Because in 69 you know that. So I went that I'm very visual with my lyrics. Yeah,
it's not PG-13 episode, guys.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? In the car, I didn't used to play Marcel Kharif. I used to play George Wassouf or Avi Biter. That's what I used to play in my car. So it's like Abu George, كلام الناس تسمع. So I brought all of Tamer that I'm gonna put it in one song. Then I recorded it. Then I freaked out. It's like, should I release it? It also was in my drawer for 3 years. And I had my first kid. I was a father. And suddenly raised questions. شو طيزها? شو هذا? You just recorded الحرية أنثى. And you're intellectual and people. And I didn't want to release it. And I kept it. I kept it on the side. And then when I came to that studio, that kid Anan Iqsam من ولاد الحارة, he was like, now I'm calling 2 friends of. Now we are doing that. It's like, okay, fuck it, yalla. And when I released it, it's insane. That even when I do a show at a university with the most intellectual crowd, that's the song that they
request.
Yeah.
And I think, just what you're touching on is really is the ability to touch different shades of our reality.
It's
right?
to be
there's the street shade, there is the struggle of Palestinian women for equality, there is the political struggle, but there's also trying to have a cool car and just want to drive and have this youth life and all of this throughout your career. We see it.
Yeah.
The different shades of our reality in different moments. And that has been translated to us.
And we're complex human beings.
Exactly.
And if an artist is there to self-express. So if you don't self-express, what are you gonna do? You're not just one thing. I sense you want to transition.
I think we should. We can talk about this all day, but I think we should transition to our second segment, which is What Do You Do? Which we gave a lot of foreshadowing to already, particularly to your work in the past. But we want to focus more on the present and the future in this segment. But before we do that with Tamer, the artist, with the new album and everything coming up, maybe a word about what do you do beyond your art? Because you've hinted on film, on writing, on articles. Can you give us just a little bit on what do you write in general? What's your other work other than your rap?
Like the other art?
Other things that you do in general.
In general, if I'm not an artist, this is my schedule. If I'm a full-time father, and this is something that I'm a full-time family man. I'm an active family man. You never see me going to drink after a show or something. Just my home this is where I feel comfortable. Sports. So it's family and sport. I love the gym and I love soccer.
What's your team?
Hmm?
What's your team?
I don't watch soccer.
You play.
I play. Yeah. Why would I watch other people enjoying?
Thank you.
I'll watch soccer World Cup. يعني and not even the ايش بيسموا اول segment
the group stage.
Yeah, not if there's
just the knockout.
Yeah, just من الربع وفوق يعني.
When shit gets real.
Yeah, and it's quality time. Actually, we never had a TV in my house, which is because you have screens and laptops. But last World Cup, we brought a TV so we can sit and watch
as a family.
Yeah, so.
And your activism.
I play soccer twice a week.
Oh wow.
That's what I love, and I go to the gym. That's what I like. And the other ones is, there's Tamer that wants to rap in Arabic. Still, there's Tamer that wants to rap in English. That's still. There's Tamer part of them. There is Tamer that wants to rap fully political. There is that needs to. There's Tamer that wants to write, just about relationships,
love songs and life.
A relationship in a different way. I just finished the songs like انت جيبي ترومة أهلك وأنا بجيب ترومة أهلي ونفكفكهم على مهلي وعلى مهلك. That's a real love song.
So let's talk about the different Tamers, because there's one Tamer that's coming up soon, which is Tamer that wants to write and sing rap songs in English.
Yeah.
And your new album coming up in the name of the father, the Imam
and John Lennon.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the reason behind the name? Because it alludes back to something you said at the beginning, but just so the audience fully understands the title.
Album will be released in January, I think 2020, in between 20, I can't remember. I need to look at it's 20 something January, and it's gonna start with the tour, 10 cities in Europe. You can check it on my Instagram.
And we'll have it in the description as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Actually, this song is more of a relationship of me and my dad. As I said, my dad is coming from a very working class, so working class that it broke his back. John Lennon have a song called Working Class Hero. So we reached a point where I started being known and open to the world that it created a gap between me and my dad. So we love each other, but we used to drive for 2 hours and there's no conversation. Fee gap. Something that made me angry and maybe frustrated without knowing. But I said in the song, he knew me as a kid and I never knew him as a man. So only after he died and I became a father, I started meeting myself in him. Seeing him and seeing stuff that he did. So it's like, he loves music. He used to be a musician. Then maybe we should talk about music. We could have easily spoke about music. So this song is kind of it's a story where he's now in heaven and he's finally meeting John Lennon. Now, John Lennon doesn't believe in heaven, but fuck him. It's not about him. It's about my dad. It's my dad's heaven. My dad was religious and he went to Mecca and he was conservative. So that's his. And he's talking to John Lennon about his songs. And I interrupt in the middle. It's like, are you really listening to white music? Why would you listen to a guy telling you, imagine there's no country? This guy's a British. He literally gave our country to the Jews. So we don't have to imagine there's no country. We don't have a country. So it's all just to tell my dad that for me, Tupac, Big, Nas, and Hove, and Ziad, and Fairuz are way bigger than the Beatles. And maybe he'll be like, yeah, but the songs of the Beatles. And there we go. We have a conversation with my dad. That's the whole idea of the song, Yani. It's not about John Lennon. It's not about politics. I'm just using all the excuses in the world to fill that 2 hours of having a conversation with my dad. Because the last thing that I would like to have is 2-3 years from now is just not to knowing how to talk to my kid. And that's the idea of the album. It's full of, it's how this, I'd say how the politics and the society كله how is it other than being scary كله, but how at the end of the night it إيش بيقولوا يخترق
like break through
those individual moments. That's the idea.
And the purpose for doing this in English,
Because
you
I
could have done
fucking
the same
can,
thing
man.
in
Because I
Arabic.
fucking can, and I'm good.
Is there a strategy behind it, or is it
There's
just
a passion behind
right
it.
now I want to do it in English and later I'm going to do another? Because you said there's Tamer that does in English and Tamer that does in Arabic, so it's not, because that's a real question. Are you abandoning the rap in Arabic?
No, hell no. I have.
Are you abandoning us?
One of the reasons that it's you need to know when you have a project in your heart as an artist, after you move it, suddenly it's clear and you're like, okay, finally, what's next? I have to. This album has been stuck on the shelf, not from the reasons I didn't bury it, but it was COVID. It was a bad deal I did with the label that I had to wait 3 years to end that. It was the genocide that we witnessed. فكله, but that song, if you go back 8 years ago to a show of me in Berlin, I think it was the announcement of this album. It took fucking 8 years. But then Damn came and the album, it's just a lot of why in English? خلاص, I'm passionate about it. And when I tour a lot outside of the country, and when I make a song in Arabic, they clap, they enjoy it, the vibe is amazing, but they don't get the metaphors. For them, he sounds good. His songs are vibe, his charisma, his ta-ta-ta-ta, it's catchy. But I worked my ass out for that metaphor, for that allegory, for that double meaning. And when I rap something here in Arabic in front of a crowd, they're like, oh, he's singing about Palestine. They will laugh when I say 69. They will laugh at certain lines. When I sit, by the way, I calculated. It's like, okay, this is what, and we mute the drums and it will be so focused على هذا line and people laugh. And then I have 2 lines after. I was like, yeah, but they're still thinking of that line, so maybe I should delay that line. I really calculated, like I'm in a van selling crystal. I'm calculating كل شيء يعني. So when I go and I do shows in front of 2000-3000 أجنبي, they enjoy the song. I want them to get the line. I want them to know that I'm different. It's important for me. So now when I do songs in English, I see them smile. It's still not perfect as the Arabic, yeah. But on certain lines, like, oh, how? The same way that when I hear a line by Lil Wayne, I was like, what did he say? And he have this line that made me stop and study it. Real G's, you know what a G mean, right? Like gangster. Real G's move in silence, like in lasagna. Just, what did he say? Because the word G is silent in lasagna, so real G's move in silence, like in lasagna. This is fucking
brilliant.
It's brilliant. I want that reaction. I don't want, oh, he's talking about Palestine. No, it's what is me in it. It's not what I talk about. It's how. And I grew up on the best lyricists in the world, so.
So you want to, the messages behind the lyrics to come across with because there's so much effort to provide this.
I want my talent to be recognized as a kid.
Yeah, it's like me,
شوفوني,
like arguing
guys.
to people, like telling people, no, you don't understand, because we like hadith الساعة, ساعة فرق. Sa'a is also an hour, but it's also a clock. So he used it like this. So
And
I'm
hadith
trying to
الساعة
explain to
means the
them
main
Mhm.
talk. Yeah, I know.
the talk of the hour is a clock of that. So like I'm trying to explain, like, you don't understand. He made this hook because of this, because it was literally an effort when I translate Johnny Mashi to friends so they get grasp us, is to connect why he did certain lyrics,
Yeah.
why this word is being used twice. And if you do, regular translation, you're not gonna get it, because there are certain key words in that work in Arabic.
I feel on this
Go ahead.
point, I feel schizophrenic about this one, because one day I'm like, yes, I want to translate all of your songs. I want the brilliance, like when you want to translate it to someone and then you translate it and I'm like, this doesn't really sound
It's
well.
not the same. Yeah.
It doesn't hit well, and it's not the same reaction that I want. At the same time, there's something so personal about your music that I feel like it's something like, with all honesty, when I listen to Tamer, for the most part, it's in my AirPods, it's in my headphones. Maybe new now out loud, but usually it's between me and myself, because it brings up a lot of emotions, and I usually listen to it by myself. Then in the past 2 years, I think I went to your last show in Fattoush Bar in Haifa.
Oh, the 1 month ago. Oh, did you enjoy it?
Incredible. I have no words.
Habibi, shukran. Thank you.
But what I want to bring out, and it has to do with your album, is that you have the talent to switch the vibe. It's like you're changing the settings, the light. You're putting filters on with each song you put. One, it's about death and destruction, and about Hind Rajab, or about Salam Ya Sahbi, about internal crime, or internal murders. And then all of a sudden it's Super Lancer or Johnny Mashi, and you can bring up dancey vibes, and you also make people cry. Like, I was there in the crowd. I cried. I saw other people crying. It's intense. You bring up, you bring down. And at least that's how I experienced it. In your album, it ends with Rocket Like a Palestinian.
That's the last song, right?
Yeah. And it's different from the other songs. It has, maybe you can tell me from your words, but it has pride. It has showing off that, fuck it, it's cool to be a Palestinian. It's not just under the rubble. It's not just tears. It's not just advocacy. No, it's cool. Was that intentional? The mix, the mash?
That album has been, if it was intentional, then بالغلط. That album is, I mean, it's different vibes, it's different timers, different songs, different producers, different deals that I've done. That specific album, Rocket Like a Palestinian, actually was an Algerian, it was a Moroccan sample. Okay, if I wanna, there was an amazing artist called, I forgot his name, Shab something, that he died, committed suicide out of depression back in the 70s. Apparently he did covers in Moroccan لكل James Brown's songs, and this French label found it like a few years ago from the 70s. They digged and they found and they released it, and I had that sample. It's called Funk Habibi Funk, something like that. You can search it. And I think back then Rob Hallett sent it to me. There was like, you need to sample this, and I did sample it, and I recorded it. I recorded it at the beginning with Wala Asbet. You know Wala Asbet of 47. We've recorded that 8 years ago. And then COVID happened, and then Wala left, and he was like, listen, I don't feel like it, so now I have a gap. So and I got to Rasha Nahas. When I got to Rasha Nahas, we recorded it, we finished it. We started chasing the clearance for the sample, and the Algerian family and the Funk Habibi agreed, and we signed, but they said that they have like a line that we also have to ask the permission of the James Brown label. And I think there's something very Zionist there, because they agreed, They asked us to send them the name of the song, and I did a mistake, and I said Rocket Like a Palestinian, and they said, no, it's not gonna work. Now I'm fucking stuck. So Russia was like, listen, I have a friend from Jordan, Ismo Nasser, maybe he can recompose it. And I was like, okay, yeah, but it's a sample. How do you... Then I spoke to Nasser, Bashir, and Nasser was like, dude, I think he said something. I go to clubs and I sing James Brown. I can easily do it. Fuck that sample. Let's do it in Arabic. And then he did, it's very James Brown. So now this song went through that process, right? But if you go to a different song in the album, like Change the World for Me, I took a sample of my Sadaw. That's easier to clear. I took a sample, and I recorded it. It didn't go through evolution. So now suddenly you have two different sounds, two different vibes. That's what makes... I didn't mean it.
Mhm.
And it's so different, but somehow it makes sense, I think. So yeah.
Any other stories from the process itself of putting together this album? Something that the audience should know about the process that you've gone through?
I think The Beat Never Goes Off is a hell of a process. The Beat Never Goes Off. It's something that I did with Noel Kharman
Mhm.
and MC Abdul.
Yeah. Who at the time was still in Gaza, no?
Yeah. You know when did we record it? May 2021. We filmed it. You
Oh,
know?
wow.
I remember this very well, yeah.
Yeah. Michel Zananiri, the producer from Jerusalem, he had a cast in Gaza. And they went for scouting and they picked the building of the press. What do you call it? By Jazeera. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, the press building.
Yeah, the
what's it called?
broadcast building?
Yeah, the one that was bombarded.
Mhm.
Yeah. 2 days ago, they went there and they tested, and the kid was supposed to film there. And then we woke up and there's no building.
No building. Wow.
And I couldn't leave Lid. We shot The Beat Never Goes Off and go there in the same day while Lid was under curfew in May 2021. So that was a hell of a story. Like we snuck to Bet Nabala, I think. Bir Nabala or Bet Nabala, see. We snuck at 2 a.m. and we did The Beat Never Goes Off on the wall there for 4 hours. We went home, slept for 2 hours, woke up to go there. The video of Go There. That was very intense. But the most emotional part back then is when they projected the kid on the wall, because it felt like, you know, the kid is protest and activism, and you won, and we are using the same wall that is separating us to unite us. But when they screamed him at the wall, you understood that you can't touch him.
He can't.
It's a wall. He's bigger than the wall. That's beautiful. That's art. But that was a very sad moment to know that
Metaphor and symbols are metaphors and symbols.
Are metaphors and symbols. Shukran. That's the best thing. Maybe that's an album title. Metaphors and symbols are just metaphors are just metaphors. And that gets me maybe to the song Change the World for Me, that I did with my Sadaw, where I compare art to the black box of the airplane. I'm not Captain Sully. I'm not here to save the day. I'm the black box. I'm nothing but the black box. I document, eject seat, then cash out. That's what I do. And in the hook, it goes back and forth. It's like, if only change the word for me, get your microphones. Like, you know, you lose. It's two things. It's two different streams. You lose your you lose your ثقة. You lose your trust with art, but at the same time, that's all I can do. I cannot. It's not like at the age of 46, I'm gonna become a pilot. It's not gonna happen. So that's why, for me, art was so disappointing that I'm creating more. For me, I just knew that that's all I can do. So instead of focusing on the 99.9 of the things that I don't control, I'll put my 100% of that 0.1, and that gets me every fucking morning because that's all I can do.
In that song specifically, Changed the World for Me, you started by saying when you're in your 20s, if you're in your 20s and you want to change the world,
if you're in your 20s and you are not trying to change the world, then you lost your heart. If you're in your 40s and you're still trying to change the world, then you lost your goddamn mind.
Is that a cry for desperation?
That song, of course.
Or was it an admission of insanity? Because it seems like you still want to change the world. You're still trying to change the world.
No, it's because all I can do. Give me, if you wake up tomorrow, if you restart me and you tell me I can stop the hunger and the cold in Gaza, I will drop the fucking microphone tomorrow. Fuck art. Fuck the metaphors when the physicality is in danger. I'll talk about food for the soul after there's a food for the belly. That's the priority. And this is how human beings have been surviving since the Homo sapiens until today. Yeah. I do art because I'm good at it, and that's all I can do. Give me a reason to free people physically. Give me an access, give me a talent to tell me that I can get into oil and bond with lobbies and do that so I can change the hunger and change the massacre and the genocide of the people. Then I will drop the microphone yesterday. But I don't. I know how to do art, and I'll just shut the fuck up. And
but your art is your form of activism in a way, regardless. And
there was back in the time we used to call it raptism.
Raptism.
And even when you don't mean it to be, it still is. And I personally argue that we need everything. We need everything. We need the person who would work and learn and study something to do with the oil and the engineering and to create the technology that will improve and develop Gaza and reconstruction. And we need the people who are advocating on the streets, and then we need the people that channel us with music and lyrics and convey our messages with a beauty and storytelling and art.
But Ibrahim, look, I want to share something. Look, the whole idea of doing music for me is to document, as I said, right? It just always was like, wow, if we had iPhones back in 1948 when they ethnical cleansed us, right? If we only had somebody had documented the brutal massacre they did in the Dahmash mosque or Deir Yassin. If we had that, then we'll take it to the judge. I'll just call it a judge. And there you go. That's the evidence. But we didn't. That's why we need to do it in the movies, in the art. We need to prove. 2 years of documentations, the worst kind of documentations, all the fucking proofs around the world of a genocide, of Zdetiman, of soldiers just sniping people for the fuck of it. It's there. Nothing happened. It's like investing. We've been investing 46 years of my life in proofs and metaphors. It's like having a currency that doesn't exist. It's like, oh, I've saved $1 billion of Talala. What is this currency? Doesn't work anywhere. It's nothing. When it comes, 1 million songs that I can do are nothing compared to $40 billion that Biden gives to Israel. Nothing. So I don't want to be that spoiled. Art is important, but I knew my place. Know your place, boy. افهم محلك. And that's scary. That is very scary.
Scary thought.
It's a scary thought for me at night.
Also for us, we're with you. We're recording an episode where we're trying to advocate. We're trying to bring our voice of Palestinians to the international community.
I appreciate that.
It's still a.
I appreciate and respect that.
No, but what you're saying, it's also bringing me this scary thought of like, yeah, at the end, it's about the people who sign the fucking papers. It's about the person who signs a check to the government or to Gaza.
Me and you, we don't have a seat on that table since 1917. Tamam? It's beyond 1948. Yes, there was a huge plan to cleanse Palestine since 1917. And for me, there is a direct line between them and between the double murder that happened in Nazareth, or the next murder that it's going to happen. It's bigger than me. I can't change it. But then again, after you admit your limitations, I really believe in that. I think that the best thing, if our art is not changing, no, it is changing. No. Why are you saying art is not changing? Dive in that fear. Dive. Give it. أعطيه مساحته. That's therapy. This is how therapy works. Because this and that. Did you say, no, I didn't do it? Dive. Okay, what can you do? I can do art, and wake up and do it again. It's كمان acceptance كمان. But suddenly when I accepted the limitations, I broke boundaries in my art. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah,
It makes perfect sense.
What comes to mind is the quote by Nina Simone, the duty of an artist, at least as far as Nina Simone is concerned, is to represent the times, reflect the times. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're saying that it's a black box. And when there's so many times happening at the same time. There's either with your articles, with your script writing, with your rap, with like all of that.
Soon 2 novels, inshallah.
Soon 2 novels in English.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that you touch upon, whether it's in your articles talking about Palestinian citizens of Israel are going to live with the monster that raped Palestinians in prison or sniped children.
Oh, that was a rough one. That was a rough article, yeah.
So there's that. There's a crime you just mentioned. We're recording this at the end of December, and 2 days ago, a man and his son were shot dead in Nazareth in the same place where we're recording. And then there's the occupation, there's the genocide, there's also the hypocrisy of misogyny. There's, you talk on your Instagram about writer's block. There's so many things. How do you choose where do you place that black box?
في الأغنية I blame it on my ADD baby. That ADHD حبيبتي.
It gives it the ability to scatter across.
Gives it everything.
And is there a no-go zone where Tamer is like, I don't go there. My black box, it's the Bermuda Triangle. I get lost there.
I don't think I didn't cover anything until yet. I think I've covered everything. I think I didn't piss the Mormons yet. That's it.
The Mormons. I lived with Mormon family for a year. They tend to be very, very nice. And
yeah, I'm kidding. I've met them. We've been in Utah for the Sundays.
بضايقك الأوبسيشن في الكلام. الكل حافظ كلامك أكتر منك.
No, it flatters me. I really work hard on it. Amira, I stay up nights just for that one line, and when I nail it, and I see, I perform for the first time, and I agree with my band that on this line I want the drums, I want everything quiet, just أعطيها marker, and when I do that, and I see, I look, and I see a couple, it's like, it just fills me. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
The question came because, in our gap, from one of the things that Tamer was saying, I was like, oh, but it reminds me of this song that you had, and you said this one thing about the flash of the camera during Nakba, and it's what the fans do.
Even though it's a very sad line,
sentences.
It's a sad line, right? But I really smiled when I was like, oh, camera flash. I smiled when I wrote it, and because wow, you're good. That and Salam Ya Sahbi command, and I tested with people.
And it's difficult things that you say in some of the
Salam Ya
songs.
Sahbi, by the way, I had that line about Shakespeare.
How did it go? Do you remember?
هل دارس المسرحية؟ قلت له ما بعرف الشكسبير بس بعرف كم تاجر بندقية. And that line, when I played it for people, they didn't get it. And you changed it, but you don't want to get rid of the line. It took me a few, And then I noticed that they were fascinated by a line, like 2 lines before. They were fascinated, and it's just, they were still stuck there. So I deleted that line.
Oh.
And
You deleted the line that they were stuck because, wow.
because it doesn't add. It's just a wordsmith, nice bragging wordplay.
People love,
but if
like,
you think
sometimes
of it,
the-
it just doesn't bring to the song.
Mhm.
If there's one thing, I'm gonna be real, modest, بالمodesty تاعتي وبالego تبعي. I think I'm a great writer, تمام? But it took me time to understand that I need to learn how to delete. That took a lot of time. The delete part. So
And when we talk about your words, a rapper criticizes. He goes to the controversy. Especially when you're not just doing rap for the sake of just putting words together, but to bring like the OG Black that spoke about the hardships of the streets, which is something that we feel when we hear your rap, but it can't come without controversy. And we see the controversy and maybe the criticism, I would say, from both ends. We see it from the Israeli society and being targeted by the state, by the government, by, at that time, the Minister of Sports and Education, so-called, Miri Regev, and in general in the Israeli society, and from our own, from the conservative community, from people who looked at your songs and the things that you're speaking, advocating for women's rights. You can do it in a whole song, and you can do it in a verse when you talk about, people who sell drugs and they complain at the same time about women wearing skirts, or about people selling like fake receipts and then building a house and putting a quote from the Quran and saying this is from God's grace. And these are harsh criticisms of our own society, and that also gets backlash. How do you navigate the backlash that you get from these two ends?
But you get also a crowd. Yani, the beautiful side of it, you have a lot of. Yani,
does it bring fears? Are there fears?
Of course.
When you write these things?
Yeah, of course. I'm a human being. أكيد يعني. I agree with the question, but not the comparison, because
it's different challenges.
It's of course. You're talking about. If I want to talk about women's rights and stuff like that, I might get comments and criticism from people, which is legit. If I talk about people who builds huge houses with the
laundering in a way.
Yeah, it's legit, because if you go to the US, you have people making criticism about priests who are going on jets, because in general, also in Christianity and Judaism, everyone, religion is a very good way to make money without paying taxes. It's a legit. It's me being part of the world. So yes, some people, they comment it's not good, but the other side is the scary one, like that Israeli side, because you are here talking about people who are not commenting, but they are holding a scary police that drags people like Talal Abu Amne or Maisa Abdel Hadi. It's systemized. It's different. I can argue with Arabs. You know what? I open, they argue, It's legit. This is healthy.
This is healthy argument.
Yeah, don't come to I'm not going to go to his concert. You know what? I'm going to try and write a post against his concert. I'm going to cancel his concert. It's legit. Tamam? But if you cannot compare it with a scary, superior white system, that it's not arguing, it's killing a culture, it's killing people, it's canceling shows and raising crime at the same time. So that's why when you spoke, I was like, it's not
the same thing. But Israeli society perhaps is not the same as the government.
80% of the 95% of the Israeli society holds a weapon and goes to Gaza, with all the respect. And I've never fell for. I fucking respect a lot of hardcore movements that they held signs against the occupation and against. I respect that. بس كمان, let's be honest, it's a minority. If you want to discuss like 90, I don't know, 95%, I don't want to say
We
no.
won't quote
It's
you
a
on the
large
numbers.
majority.
The majority of the ones who wants Bibi out, they want him for crimes, corruptions, and stuff like that, right? This is not it. He's done worse than that. So no, I don't see myself in the beginning now.
And they try to maintain the same system, the same reality, the same everything.
نفس
That's why we
الخرا
don't
دول.
join.
Yeah, Bibi's a face.
When
That's it.
when I talk to
Yeah.
ask me why do you not join, I'm
And
like,
this
because nothing
whole-
is changing.
I'm not being practical now. I'm being emotional. Practical, maybe it can be a 1 state, 5 states, I don't know. That's not me to decide. But the feeling to have from a left-wing Zionist is when he stands and it's like, but it should be a Jewish country, and the feeling that you feel that you are more human than me and you can take care of me more than I can take care of myself is fuck you. That's my first reaction. Yes, I might be practical and pick, okay, now we need to get rid of this and that. We need to have, but flowing in that emotion, it's not مش من مستواي. If you see me below you, انت مش من مستواي. I have a high standard of humanity that includes everything and requires a lot of work. And if you come and you say, yeah, best, then you are مش من مستواي بالتفكير universal. And I'm not waiting for you to give me the standards of what is right and what is wrong, because انت مش من مستواي بالتفكير. أنا سابقك بالتفكير. تمام? I can say that it always I remember when I started, like, white media's like, oh, so he's art to humanize the Palestinian, and it bothered me. I never knew why. Dude, I'm a human being. If you cannot see that, go check your eye doctor, ya khara. It's not my fucking problem, right?
I don't need to prove my own
If the
humanity.
TV is open and you don't see it, that's your fucking problem. And to be honest, I think that after the terrible genocide that is happening, they're talking about 60,000, 100,000 people. I think that I should pause and say the whole white standard liberal owes us songs to humanize themselves. You should do songs to humanize your fucking self. I'm a human being and you killed me and you massacred me. You sponsored it. You did that. You did that deal. You brought that to test the weapons on me. Fuck you. You humanize yourself. I know me. أنا بعرف مين أنا. I fucking know me. I know my standards. As Tamer. I know how I fight for women's rights. I know how I fight for, and I know how I want to fix inner things, fix my own demons, like every fucking child in the world, like every human being. You fix yourself. You follow my standards now. This is the emotional part. Practically, I don't have the tools. I don't have the power. So that's why I find myself playing in their fields sometimes, because
with the power that you have, with the tools that you have of music, because we are coming to a very, I would say, critical, it's funny for us, every 2 years we say it's the most critical year in our history. Now we say it again. It's one of the most critical periods, a year that potentially has elections at the end of it. And it's also scary. What's gonna be next? What kind of a reality as Palestinian citizens of Israel we will face next? A few years ago, you made a song calling for El-Fashi Mashi, calling Palestinian citizens of Israel that we need to go fucking vote, because otherwise we're allowing people who are sitting in power right now, like Ben-Gvir, like Smotrich, like Bibi, to maintain in power. Would you do it again?
No.
For this year coming up?
No.
Or why not? Is there a regret doing it?
I don't regret. I learned. I'm sorry, I had to say that. I heard people in podcasts say lines. I don't love my job. I job my life. I'm sorry. I have to say lines. That was a hard that was very hard. يعني now I'm safe, but back then that was very, very hard.
It's very bold of you to do.
Yeah, but the consequences was very hard. I regret that. لا, because if you ask me during, I might say yeah, but now that I know it passed, I don't.
What was the hard part? Responses?
Yeah, of course. It was very hard.
Which were?
يعني لا, في كتير حبوا. A lot. But can there were demonstrations. I had a show, and that was the hardest part. I had a show in Ramallah, 2,000 people, and there were like 4 people with 4 signs calling me a traitor. That was heartbreaking.
Hard,
that was
I
heartbreaking.
mean, even if it's one person, it's really hard.
That was heartbreaking. And I remember that was the first time on stage I confused my lyrics. They اخترقوني يعني. That was heartbreaking. But it's individuals, it's their rights يعني. But it's I was in that period of time. Look, the idea of that song wasn't to show that Israel is a democracy. It wasn't. It was.
I know it.
It was
maybe
being.
Are you saying people took it that way?
Yeah, because if you elect, then you're gonna show the world that they are using you to. I think that we are living in a time where if you have the weapon, if you have the money, if you have the lobby, if you have the army, you can not be democratic, fuck the world, and still survive. So I think this war, them trying to look good, and I don't think they give a fuck, because they look the worst. And they're still surviving, and they know that. And this is the dangerous part. We can go massacre. We can look at you on TV and say we are going to do this and that, and we do that. Look, we are doing that. It's like a drug dealer. It's like somebody came to Pablo Escobar and he's like, "Yo, you're a drug dealer." No, I'm not. By the way, even though if you sell drugs, you're not going to be punished. Yeah, fuck you. I'm a drug dealer. What the fuck are you going to do about that? It's beyond. This is how I see it. Now, for me, as a Palestinian living here, 2 million of us, for me, what is my job? أصرخ صمدين? Come on. يعني, but after the 7th of October, most of our society went into silence. This is fear, which is legit. So sometimes it's like, what is your part? What is your role in this game? And maybe our role was, maybe I'm wrong. Again, I take responsibilities for my words. يعني maybe you go to maybe now if I listen to a professor who's better than me بعلوم سياسية, it's like, yo, fuck, I missed that. But I'm talking from my heart now. تمام? Maybe our job is just to maintain شوي. Don't let go of the هوية. امسك الهوية منيح بس maintain. Know yourselves. Maybe the change will come from the Palestinians in the diaspora who are pushing in the US to change the lobby. Maybe something will come from there, and then okay, now you're on. Maybe. Now for us to maintain, that means how do we minimize crime? How do we stop the settlers' attacks on us? How do we do that? Does it mean that we need, am I going to stop the legacy of Rabin? I don't think I can do that. Am I going to populate Haifa من لاجئين? I'm sorry, I don't think I can do that. Will I? But if I vote and I remove X and Y and Z, then it will bring me to ناس خرا زي لبيد زي إبصرمين. Then at least you can breathe, and then you can go. I don't know, maybe بعرفش. But it's okay. Maybe it's wrong. That's not my tools. Okay, then what are my tools?
Mm-hmm.
Let's sit. I agree. Fuck voting. Let's put it aside. Let's talk. Now it's empty. There's a gap. What are my tools? Let's recalculate what our tools.
You mentioned, sorry to cut you off. You mentioned the power of the diaspora.
Yeah.
Do you think you shifting your, not shifting, but putting one step into the international scene and releasing an album in English, do you feel like you would have power there with this new, and I'm not saying Tamer by himself. I'm saying like Tamer alongside.
You have a lot of key people there that are like all the Palestinians there are key, except DJ Khaled. يعني you have alhamdulillah walishi, my brother Suhail, he's a key person in the music business in San Francisco. You have Ghazi, the Empire. You have Frederick, he's producing Eminem, and you have Mamdani. Something is happening and shifting there, and you have pop stars that are Palestinians. I mean, Ilyana, La Saint Levant, La Anis. It's something is moving, something is happening.
Something is moving.
And that's their field, and احنا بعاد عن هذا المحل. That's their job, and they have the tools, and they are built for that. I'm not from Lid. I'm not gonna. I'll try. بس يعني from Lid to do it there, it's time differences. It doesn't work by good songs. It works by shaking hands, bonding, and doing. I'm not there. I know that. They are doing their job. Then I need to figure out what are my tools from that place called Lid. When I sit on myself by my studio, I accept that this is what I have, right? I accept that I don't have big labels. I accept that. Tamam? All I have is this. Okay, soon as I accept that, okay, what do you do with this?
Let's see. That you do
but at least I know.
I noticed that we're running out of time, but so I'm shifting towards something completely different. Different and similar. It's everything is political. We said throughout the episode that you talk a lot about liberation is female, or the female liberation, or and you work a lot with female musicians, artists, and we know all the obstacles that you faced. It's kind of doubled for a female artist, Palestinian, and you work with them. Now, I'm not asking you to mansplain their experience, but as someone that's there, what is something that an audience would take for granted about a Palestinian female artist, whether it's an actress or a singer or a comedian, that you would see as a fellow artist that we wouldn't see as an audience?
My difficulties of understanding when to let go, when to be the big brother that have experience. I have more experience than them art-wise, and when to shut the fuck up and listen that I'm being a man. It's a very thin line that you lose sometimes. Yani I remember with Maisa, I think it was just a Dicom, that I had a great, because we write together, me here and Mahmoud used to sit. There was this amazing line that I've seen as a rapper. It's like, we do this, and she's like, I don't want to do that. It's not comfortable, because she gave an explanation, a woman explanation, like why she can't do it. It's like, no, record it and then we will decide. And then,
for context, the song is about female bodies that females don't own.
How would you explain Jasadikom?
Jasadikom, so it's
their body of yours?
Yeah, it's
your
like
Jasad
means body. Jasadik with the k is your body, and kum is theirs. Yeah. So it's your body, but it returns to them at the end of the day.
Your body of theirs, yeah.
Your body.
Your body of theirs.
Yeah, it took a while to get. We came up with it as a joke. Jasadik. جسدك إلهم جسدكهم, and then we woke up. That's a title. But there was the specific line, and I was so into it as a musician, as a rapper, and I thought that Maisa was missing that line, but it took me a while to understand that me as a man is missing something. And she was right; she nailed it. Because when you look at the song now, it's complete. It was too much of let's brag about the wordsmith and stuff, and she stripped it shway. And there are parts when I work with a female rap, a female artist, where I want to say something, but I want to be the man. And then when we listen to it, I didn't lead artistically. So it's this is a difficulty that every time I gotta face.
And society-wise.
يعني
for I'm just thinking of your movie Junction 48, and when your character's girlfriend, lover,
Summer Topti.
Yes,
Manar, I think it was.
Manar, her name is in the movie. she wants to perform with you. I don't want to
Yeah.
spoil the movie.
No, it's
But
okay.
anyways,
It's been a while.
you're approached. Her family is upset about her being public and doing art, but you're approached in the movie. Your character is approached. So that's the kind of thing that I'm referencing to. There are struggles that are behind the scenes, behind the curtains. If you feel comfortable talking about, because
Yeah, of
it
course,
is
في self-policing بالطريق. You have
Mhm.
self-policing on the way. يعني I've had points where a female partner was like, fuck it, we want to do this and this. It's like, okay, we're gonna get the attack is gonna be huge. I don't sometimes maybe without noticing, I just, oh yeah, but maybe we do this. I try to find a way around it. But if she decides that we are going, then I'm like, okay, then we need to sit and have a meeting so we can know how to handle it. There's a wave coming and let's talk about it. You want to go
Communication.
out? Let's go out, but let's go out smart and ready.
Okay.
Command politically.
Yeah.
Command politically. Again, and it's less scary for me with that, because in the society you need to when it comes to society you need to get ready for comments and a demonstration of 2-3 people that the security tried to take out. They were horning something, and the security tried to tell, like, no, give them, it's their right, but take the horns because they are disturbing the rest. That's it. You handled it. But when it comes to the other side of self-policing on it's checking with a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be dragged, beaten, humiliated, and fat.
To conclude this segment, because we're almost done, is there something we didn't ask you that you want to talk about? Because we know we can't help but bring up the past, and you want to talk a lot about the future. So is there something that you want to talk
but
about?
Unfortunately I won't know them unless 2 hours from now. It's like,
After the whole episode is done, it's like, wait a second.
Hey, remember me 2 years ago? I'm in the future now.
I know what I want to talk about.
The present. I don't know who your audience is, but yeah, there's a movement here, not just me. Follow. Yani.
Okay, that leads to the final segment, which is when we ask, because a lot of people that we brought this season do a bunch of stuff. And it all ends to changing reality here, specifically Palestinians. And a lot of the times we hear white people, foreigners speaking for us, on top of us, on behalf of us. And we never really ask the Palestinians, شو بدكم? شو محتاجين? What do you need? So in this segment, we ask each and every guest, how can we help? And for you, maybe we can start, for the people that are listening to this, how can they help? Specifically
push
to Tamer.
the buttons where you live. Think, what is your country? What is your country's responsibility for the terrible situation and the scary and the dangerous situation and the catastrophe? You, in your city, in your country, what is the buttons that you have? Is it a congressman? Is there like a mayor that wants to run for next year, but he was pro-genocide? Then fuck him up hard. What is your tools? I don't live there with you. You don't live here with me. What is your country? How bloody are the hands of your country? And you don't always have to think, oh, I need to affect Trump. Sometimes it comes in small places. Just you find it. Just sit, find it, and you'll figure that out.
What do you need from other Palestinians? Activists?
Stay safe. I don't, that's all I wish for now. Stay safe and do the maximum. But for now, stay safe.
And for Palestinian activists in particular?
Keep going. Yani ma fishy. Keep going. All activists around the world, keep going. As you say, you can never know. Yani you punch from here, you punch from here. You don't know which hand is going to bring the knockout, and you will never know unless you continue punching.
I'll add, because you didn't say it, but tune into Tamer's tour that's coming up in Europe, January,
Smart.
right?
PR,
January.
that's my PR, yeah.
And the new album that's coming out in English, you must appreciate the effort that is put in by a Palestinian artist in your own language for you to experience. And it's not just Tamer, it's other individuals, other artists that are in the album, and it's just a piece of art. And tune into it, in addition to 2 novels as well. Did I miss anything?
Yes, December is the first one. It's called 3 Gs. And the second one will be a year after. It's a graphic novel, and it's going to be called 2 ATMs.
So December 2026.
I think December, that's the last one that we shot. Yeah, December. 3 Gs is coming out on December. Now we are on the editing.
Cool. So all the links, everything that we mentioned in this episode will be mentioned in the description, whether it's present work, futuristic work, and where you can find everything Tamer Nafar in the description.
And from all our audience who is from Europe, go to the concert.
Yes.
Because it will be quite something to witness, and to see Tamer's energy and, eating the stage alive is
I hope so.
quite
Still
a feat.
hungry. 26
So
years.
please do, and support the amazing work and share these lyrics, these words that talk about us. By us.
Thanks for having me. أنا عن جد انبسطت. شكرا لكم جماعة.
Thanks again.
شكرا لكم.
It's really an honor and privilege and having your voice with us
حبيبي
and to
شكرا.
share it to as many people as possible. Good luck on your tour. We'll be
شكرا
looking forward
لكم.
to
عن
it.
جد انبسطت. يسعدكم.
It's an honor.
Yes,
Thank you. And thanks again to the audience. Tune in on all the platforms and stay with us for another episode of UTTN, the podcast.